Do you get the edge? I know you should favor
I'm
him
saying
over
Shakur
everyone.
beat everybody. It don't matter who it is. Shakur beating them, so it don't matter. Shakur over everybody. That's how it's gonna be.
When you got that much money, you know what I mean, it's hard to be salty about anything, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's just the way that it is. It's the new era, it's the Devin Haney era, and that's what it is. And he's hanging on to the Floyd Mayweather era. I mean, so hard, he choked out Terence Crawford. He's still talking about he in boxing. Terence Crawford couldn't have an era to himself. And if you put Terence Crawford against any opponent on Floyd's resume, who do you have favorite? Terence Crawford or one of Floyd's opponents?
I feel like Shakur, just like Crawford was with me, Shakur has the ability to pass Terence Crawford.
And Terence Crawford isn't holding back. He says Shakur beats everybody, calling him truly one of a kind. Meanwhile, Bill Haney is laughing off any threats, boldly declaring that he will personally oversee the retirement of his own son, Devin Haney's opponents, one by one.
Devin Haney.
Man, that boy's special. That boy's special. Shakur's, you know what I mean, one of a kind, you know what I mean? He adapt to every fighter, and then once he adapts to you, it's a long night.
So he can make Devin give up his height, not necessarily have to just go after him.
We didn't see Shakur go forward. We didn't see Shakur stay in the pocket. You know what I mean? We didn't see Shakur move. We didn't see, you know what I mean, how defense minded he been. Shakur is just all around a great fighter.
You feel like Haney should move up to 40 though, or stay at 35, take the Shakur fight?
Well, I don't know. Listen. I know what it feels like to be struggling to make 135. I was there.
Bill Haney made one thing crystal clear. This is a Devin Haney era. Not Floyd's era. Not Terence's era. Devin Haney's era. And according to Bill, his son doesn't need to ride anyone's coattails or stand in anyone's shadow. Because Devin Haney...
I mean, it's an era where Terence was in the shadows of Floyd. And when Devin came along, there was no shadow that was big enough. Because we're not taking no prisoners. We know that our job is to get to the Mount Rushmore of boxing, where the greats are. And Tank Davis is a state business.
Bill Haney also addressed the Shakur situation directly. He said the ball is entirely in Shakur's court. If he wants to fight, all he has to do is step forward. Because whenever that moment comes, Team Haney will be locked, loaded, and ready without a single moment of hesitation.
The weight that they fight at, they've always been one weight behind each other or one weight after. Shakur will come up, you know what I mean? Devin will be at that weight for...
Bill Haney went even further, making a bold statement about his son's amateur pedigree. He argued that no one, absolutely no one, in professional boxing today can match the amateur background and foundation that Devin Haney built coming up. In his eyes, Devin isn't just good. He's in a class entirely by himself.
We got too much. You don't have that much amateur background and that much boxing in you to be saying that you're a TikTok star. He's trying to fool us with that smile and all that shit. You know what I mean? But he's a fighter. He's a fighter posing as a TikTok star to draw attention to his boxing.
There's a growing voice among boxing fans and analysts that Shakur Stevenson needs to stop waiting and make the big move now. The argument is simple. If Shakur is serious about cementing his legacy, his next step should be moving up to 147 pounds and challenging Devin Haney. A victory there wouldn't just be a statement win. It would make Shakur a 5-division world champion and a 3-division lineal champion, all before the age of 29. The opportunity is right there. The question is whether Shakur is willing to reach out and grab it.
If Shakur Stevenson want to keep that momentum and daring to be great, enhancing his greatness, we all know he's motivated and inspired by his mentor, Terence Crawford, that his next fight should be versus Devin the Dream Haney, moving up to the 147-pound division, because with that victory, he'll become a 5-division world champion, 3-division lineal champion, because I'm sure that Turkey Al Sheikh Ring will put that fight, will put the ring belt on the line, because I believe that Devin Haney is probably the best welterweight at the moment. He'll accomplish all of that by the age of 29. 5-division world champion, 3-division lineal champion. Come on now. Hey, Shakur Stevenson, you the WBO champion, 140-pound division. You could easily petition the WBO to make you the immediate mandatory to Devin the Dream Haney. I think that's the best fight right there. Let me know what y'all think.
Floyd Mayweather recently stepped into conversation, and he made his position very clear. Both Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson deserve their flowers. Floyd highlighted that Devin, now holding an impressive record of 33 wins, 0 losses, and 15 knockouts, made the jump to the pros at an early age. Shakur, on the other hand, stayed in the amateurs longer, chasing Olympic gold. And in Floyd's eyes, Shakur should have won that gold medal after the performance against Robeisy Ramirez. Despite that injustice, Floyd says both fighters deserve to be celebrated equally and treated with the same respect.
Fairly.
Now I know Devin Haney is 27, Shakur is 28. Devin Haney entered the pro ranks early. Shakur stayed in the amateurs to attempt to become Olympic gold medals. And he should have been. He beat Robeisy Ramirez, in my opinion. Nonetheless, he didn't get the nod. So Floyd is saying that they should be celebrated, they should be uplifted, as you see here, statement, right? And they need to be treated fair. The issue that I have with this statement is that Shakur Stevenson was looking to actually sign with Floyd, and Floyd didn't sign him. Devin Haney looked up to Floyd Mayweather, trained with his father, trained with his uncles, trained with him. And he was eager to see Ryan Garcia beat him because he had a spat with Devin Haney's father, trainer and manager, CEO of DHP, Devin Haney Promotions, Bill Haney.
But here's where things get interesting. Floyd is out here preaching fairness and support. Yet the history tells a different story. Shakur Stevenson once reached out to Floyd, hoping to sign with him, and Floyd passed. Meanwhile, Devin Haney idolized Floyd, trained with his father, his uncle, and Floyd himself. Both fighters clearly modeled their craft after Mayweather. And while Floyd absolutely has the power and the platform to elevate these young stars, his support hasn't always been consistent. That's the irony that's hard to ignore.
Floyd Mayweather has the power to support these young fighters who look up clearly. Shakur and Devin model their game after him and look up to him, right? As they should. And how often does Floyd reciprocate that? Now, I know he shows up. Shakur says when he calls, he answers. Devin says when he calls, he answers. He'll show up if they call, like, to the gym, sparring. He showed up for Shakur, right? Show up for them at the fight for them. The way, and everybody's different. Don't get me wrong, right? He's enjoying the fruits of his labor. Promote them. When Shakur Stevenson won this fight against T.O., you say he should be treated fair?
Boxing legend Andre Ward also chimed in, and he made it clear he wants to see Devin Haney versus Shakur Stevenson, and he wants to see it badly. Ward noted that Haney is already talking about taking on both Little Bro and Big Bro, which Ward says makes the challenge even more dangerous. With Shakur riding serious momentum right now, Ward believes the timing couldn't be better for this matchup. And shifting gears briefly, Ward shared his Super Bowl pick, the Seattle Seahawks over the New England Patriots. He praised the Seahawks head coach for bringing a no-nonsense, business-first mentality that the entire team has fully embraced.
Keyshawn, Devin said he'll take Lil Bro and Big Bro.
Yeah, I want to see
meaning
that.
Keyshawn and Shakur.
I want to see it. Keyshawn is dangerous right now. I want to see it.
You got any prediction for the Super Bowl, Seahawks or the Patriots?
I think the Seahawks going to do it, bro. I think they're going to do it. Just the way they looking and the way they playing. The head coach has a temperament about him, man, where it's like, hey, we happy to be here, but we got business to handle. The team is taking on that identity, man, and I respect
Floyd
it.
Schofield recently gave his take on the current landscape, specifically looking at how Devin Haney fits into the picture alongside Keshin Davis. Schofield explained that Jay Prince is playing chess, not checkers, carefully managing his fighters to make sure they don't collide within his own camp, giving each one the space and opportunity to grow. As for Haney, Schofield was straightforward. Devin shows up no matter who's across from him, and any fight involving Haney is going to be must-watch television. And perhaps most telling, Schofield pointed out that after taking that loss, Devin Haney is not in any rush to take another one, whether the record reflects it or not.
So it don't matter which one go up there. Devin is Devin. Devin going to show up. It's going to be a great fight with either one of them. Because Devin took a loss, and he don't want to take another loss, whether he got it cleaned off his record or not. He don't want to take another one.
Fight though, I ain't gonna lie.
Both of them a good fight. Even I don't think Keyshawn is gonna beat Devin. I really don't believe Keyshawn will beat Devin.
Too much experience? Why?
I don't know. I just don't see. But off my prediction yesterday, I'm not gonna get that because people will say things. But skill wise, I don't believe this new Devin that showed up his last fight. Keyshawn is going to be able to run through like he did Ortiz, a smaller guy who seemed like he didn't want to be in there.
I ain't gonna lie. As much as I don't like Devin, I did not expect Devin to do that to Norm.
While Schofield acknowledged that both potential matchups, Haney versus Shakur and Haney versus Keshin, will be exciting fights, he made his personal prediction very clear. He does not believe Keshin Davis beats Devin Haney. Period. In his view, the experience gap is simply too wide. The version of Devin Haney we saw in his most recent fight is a completely different animal. Sharper, tougher, and more resilient than ever before. Schofield contrasted that with Keshin's win over Ortiz, suggesting that Ortiz looked like he didn't want to be in there, and that the referee's stoppage was arguably premature. Meanwhile, Haney took the best shots his opponent had and never buckled. That, Schofield says, is the difference. And despite any personal feelings, you simply cannot underestimate Devin Haney.
And no one was catching him too, and didn't even buckle Devin, so I don't know.
And Keyshawn's performance wasn't great. It was good he stopped him, that the referee gave him a gift. Because the ref stopped it. He didn't even give Ortiz a chance to stand up. Not saying Ortiz would have won, but it wouldn't have been a knockout in that 12 seconds. No, that's what I'm saying, but it wouldn't have been a knockout. The ref gave that gift. He didn't even get his man the count to get up to 8. So, or to 10. So, I don't know. I would want to see the Keyshawn and Devin fight.
Key do got some dog in him, so I would like to see that.
I like the new version of them, though. I like the God more in it. The maturity of seeing them grow up as fathers. Like, just to see these young men get into these points is amazing. And they still in their 20s. So I can imagine them in their 30s.
Tim Bradley brought a deeply personal perspective to this conversation. He spoke about the bond between Terence Crawford and Shakur Stevenson, drawing a parallel to the relationship Crawford once had with him. For Bradley, there's no debate. Crawford belongs on boxing's Mount Rushmore, plain and simple. But here's what makes Shakur's story so compelling. Bradley believes Shakur has the real potential to surpass even Crawford's legacy, not by chasing 3-time undisputed status across 5 weight classes. Crawford's achievements in that regard are extraordinary, but by seizing the opportunities that politics and bad timing robbed Crawford of. Imagine if Crawford had gotten those massive fights, Thurman, Danny Garcia, Ugas, Spence, earlier in his career when it mattered most. He would have been even bigger than he already is. Shakur is operating in a different era now, one where promoters like Turki Alashik are bridging gaps and making big fights happen. That opens a door for Shakur that was never truly open for Crawford.
But I feel like Shakur, just like Crawford was with me, Shakur has the ability to pass Terence Crawford. Listen up. Now, not in the stance of becoming 3-time undisputed and, going up to, that many weight classes. Not from that standpoint. He already has 4 weight classes. Crawford is a 5-weight division champion. But in a sense of having the opportunities that Crawford didn't have. Crawford would have been even bigger than what he is if the politics didn't play into the sport at the time. And now that, you have guys like Turki Alashik that are able to bridge that gap between promoters and, make these big fights happen. When Crawford couldn't get those big fights with like Thurman and Danny Garcia and Ugas and, he got it later with Sean Porter, but it was later. But imagine if Crawford was able to have that run and, Earl Spence, Danny Garcia, Ugas, Keith Thurman, the list goes on. If he would have had all those guys on his ledger, imagine how big Crawford would be. He would be even bigger than what he is today. Bigger than what he is today. So with that being said, with these fighters hovering around 135, these talented fighters, hovering around 135, 130, Guys like, Shakur Foster, like I mentioned, going to go up to 135. He's big enough to go to 135.
Let's be honest. There's a major obstacle standing in the way of these matchups happening. But here's what the tape doesn't lie about. When you watch Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson fight, it becomes very clear that outside of cheating or some kind of controversy, neither of these men is likely to lose. They are that good, and the back and forth between them keeps the rivalry alive, keeps the fans buzzing, and keeps the anticipation building for what could be a truly historic fight.
So there's a major obstacle in the way. But nonetheless, as you watch these two fighters fight, you can clearly see, outside of cheating, they're more than likely not going to lose. Right? With that said, Devin Haney immediately responds to Shakur. Shakur responds to Devin. Right? Again, we had the initial four kings. It was Devin, Ryan, T.O., and Tank Davis. Right? It was supposed to be the Four Kings 2.0, from the Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearn, Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran. And I asked Shakur this.
This conversation always finds its way back to one central idea: the four kings of this generation. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, and Tank Davis. A modern-day mirror of the legendary era featuring Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Roberto Duran. But just like that original era had a forgotten figure in Wilfred Benitez, a man who actually beat Roberto Duran and was overshadowed despite his brilliance, Shakur Stevenson has often been the name left out of the conversation. Benitez proved his worth against elite competition and still got overlooked. Shakur may be fighting that same battle, but after dominating Teofimo Lopez the way he did, Shakur Stevenson is making sure his name can no longer be ignored.
We had that four-king era, but nobody mentions Wilfred Benitez. And the fact remains is Wilfred Benitez beat Roberto Duran as well. And Roberto Duran is 1-4 against those guys. He beat Sugar Ray Leonard the first time. Outside of that, Roberto Duran, he lost to he quit against Sugar Ray Leonard. He got knocked out brutally by Tommy Hearns. He got outboxed by Marvin Hagler and outclassed by Wilfred Benitez. Right? But he's overshadowing Wilfred Benitez. And I felt like these guys, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Tank, and T.O., overshadowed Shakur Stevenson. And now Shakur Stevenson has shined the light by dominating Teofimo Lopez.
Analysts agree. The triangle forming between Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Keshin Davis is one of the most fascinating storylines in boxing right now. Haney brings elite discipline, a razor-sharp jab, and a ring IQ that very few fighters in the world can match. Shakur brings something almost impossible to teach: defensive wizardry, pinpoint timing, and the ability to completely neutralize an opponent before they even realize what's happening. And then there's Keshin Davis, young, hungry, and absolutely determined to prove he belongs at the very top of the conversation.
Devin Haney is a tremendous fighter, but obviously he believes in himself and that he will beat Devin Haney. To that, Devin Haney responded, "I believe you're a tremendous fighter, but I'll beat you." And then Devin Haney stated, "Well, I want to fight your little brother, who is Keyshawn Davis, superstar, WBO former lightweight world champion, who called out Devin Haney and stated because he didn't like how Devin Haney treated him when they was younger, when Shakur brought him around, so on and so forth." So Devin Haney said, "You know something? I want to fight Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn, let's make it happen. And then you're the little brother," because Shakur and Keyshawn made it abundantly clear they have no interest in fighting each other because of their relationship, although they're not blood brothers. So Devin Haney said, "Well, I'll fight little brother."
Keshin Davis represents the next wave, full of energy, confidence, and a burning desire to make his mark against the biggest names in the sport. Put all three of these fighters together, and what you have is a rivalry triangle that feels like something out of boxing's golden era: clashing styles, explosive personalities, and a shared hunger for greatness. Haney's consistency, Shakur's adaptability, and Davis's fearlessness create a dynamic that fans simply cannot look away from. Each fighter is at a different stage of their journey, Yet all three are bound together by the same relentless pursuit of legacy. The stage is set. The matchups are there. And the next era of boxing is being written right now.
Boxing.
So now Shakur puts up a cryptic message and responds and says, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Well, remember, Devin Haney made an offer when he was at 135 to stay at 135 to fight Shakur. Shakur didn't like the offer, which means Devin Haney is more than willing to make the fight. Devin Haney is saying, if you want to make the fight, his father, trainer, manager, Bill Haney, CEO of DHP, Devin Haney Promotions, is saying, we'll make the fight gladly, but we're not doing a 10-pound rehydration clause. So Shakur is saying, be careful what you wish for. Skills pay the bills, as Shakur said. And Shakur said he don't like people putting rehydration clause on people because it handicaps them and you can't get credit. Well, then he says on Najee with Cigar Talk, and Devin Haney's not unalive.